What really makes the Vikings special is Mike Zimmer's double A package. And what he does is he takes his two inside linebackers, Barr and Kendricks, and instead of lining them up at a normal alignment, he puts them in the A gap between the center and the guard. Then he takes his free safety, Harrison Smith, and he lines him up on the line of scrimmage. Then he takes his nickel corner and he puts him on the line of scrimmage on the strong side. So now they got 4 defenders on one side of the center, and they got 4 defenders on the other side of the center. It's Mike Zimmer's double A package. He did it in Cincinnati, he's doing it in Minnesota, and he's ripping people. A lot of the times, his 2 inside linebackers, they act like they're blitzing, but they bluff, and they run out of here and they play coverage. The free safety's acting like he's blitzing, and he bluffs, and he runs and covers the flat. The nickel is acting like he's blitzing, and he drops into the flat. Well, the next time you think they're bluffing, they bring them both. Or they bring one, and they bring him, and they bring 4 to his side. They got about 25 different things that they can do. I love watching these guys because they raise all kind of hell. They really do.
Another Bengals coach is reportedly on his way to a new job, and a replacement has already been named. Sports director John Popovich shares what this means for the hometown team. Popo?
Carol, there was one move that was met around the National Football League with universal approval. If you know Mike Zimmer, you like and respect Mike Zimmer. And today, at the age of 57, Zimmer became a rookie head coach in the National Football League. A deal was struck with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Vikings haven't announced it yet. There might not even be a news conference for a couple of days, but it's clear he's the choice. He's already trying to hire assistants. We know what he did in Cincinnati. He built a defense that was among the NFL's best. So, Zimmer goes to Minnesota, but his system stays in Cincinnati. Linebacker coach Paul Guenther will get a chance now to run the offense. Guenther is a Zimmer disciple. He's been with the Bengals for the past 9 seasons. He's been the coach of the linebackers for the past 2. And like on Hard Knocks, if you saw Zimmer, you likely saw Guenther right in front of him. He was in on the decisions. He's had a voice on the development of this defense, and he's already very familiar with the personnel, and obviously they're familiar with him. Soon as the news came out this morning, there was a flurry of reaction. Some of that later on in sport. The Bengals have become a better team because they had depth among their players. Now we're going to find out if they have that same kind of depth on their coaching staff. Last week, Hugh Jackson stepped in to replace Jay Gruden for the offense. Today, Marvin Lewis had to replace his other top assistant, Mike Zimmer, who Wednesday became head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Big shoes to fill indeed, and Paul Guenther is the guy who has been given that task. He knows how important Zimmer was to the defense.
I think, again, I think the world is him. I actually want to congratulate him on his opportunity in Minnesota. That's number one. I think he's got his own personality, and I have my own personality. And I got to be myself. I got to coach the guys the best I know how, and not try to be somebody else.
Last week. All right, now keep an eye on this play. Look at number 58 here, your right defensive end. This is Carl Lawson.
Look at Cincinnati, Coach Lewis having both linebackers in the double A gap in between the center and guards.
And they both drop out.
Look at the running back to the right of Aaron Rodgers. Look at how his head is so focused right towards those linebackers.
That's a great point.
That's saying that the 2 guards in the center and the running back are responsible for those 2 defensive tackles and the 2 linebackers. You get a squeeze call on that. What Cincinnati wants to do is just what's designed. That then makes both tackles, the right and left tackle, on one-on-one pass coverage, no help, no chipping ability by the back because he's worried about the double A gap. This lets Lawson one-on-one against the left tackle.
The move that he does, I love how he gets upfield and he'll stab with that left arm, bam, right there. And then he uses it to push back across his body because he gets that tackle off balance. Like right there, the balance, you're done. And then he gets inside.
I actually hate that move because it is so good and it is so effective. You defensive guys, especially you DBs, like that because the quicker the pressure gets on the quarterback, the better it is for the defensive backs. But again, the concept of the play is phenomenal by Cincinnati to get this, to show the double A gap pressure.
As a quarterback, take us inside this view. What are you thinking if you're Aaron Rodgers here when you see those 2 linebackers right there in the double A gaps? Do you think they're coming? Are you worried about getting the football hot in this situation?
Well, because of the depth of the safeties, I'm not overly worried about all 6 guys coming. Statistics will show that they are going to bail out of that. That's why, to keep the statistics guessing, I'd look for Cincinnati to bring that pressure in the A-gap early in the game, just to throw off some of our keys. But this is really what they want to do: rush 4, get good pressure, and then be able to drop 7 in coverage.
He's Bernie. I'm Dustin. Thanks again for joining us inside the film room. That's a look at the Cincinnati Bengals defense.
You need guys to kind of emerge a little bit, because you're blending some veterans, but you're also in need of some young guys to step up a little bit. Am I correct in that this year?
Yeah, it's like that every year. You know, you have guys that go on in the program. We've drafted, we've developed, and they've on their second contracts, and then we've drafted some younger guys that you want to have a good blend of both old and young guys in there. I think, and the older guys can show the younger guys how we do things around here. It's an extension of the coaching staff. So it's a good blend of guys we have right now.
Is there any area there that you're more antsy, that feel you have more question marks?
All 11. No, we're in good shape. We're backed up. We're deep. There's going to be some battles at every position really in training camp, which is how you want it. Competitive, good battles. The guys are fighting for spots. So it'll be an exciting camp.
Some guys under you at the position are new on your staff. How difficult is that, just to take that, okay, I want to make sure we're doing this the same way, the way I need it done?
Well, it's kind of like when Marvin lost both coordinators. It doesn't happen very often, you know, and after last year we hire a whole brand new defensive staff, so you're bringing all these guys in from different systems, and you're really coaching the coaches in the spring to make sure they're rolling it out to the players how you want it said. So I went out and tried to find the best guys I could, young, old, whatever it is, experienced, not experienced, but the best guys I think were fit for our players in each room. I think we did a good job with that.
You go through OTAs, you go through camps, and so everybody should be pretty acquainted with the system. So what's the essential part of training camp that you need to get out of these next few weeks?
Well, you know, once training camp starts, you're not really game planning for an opponent, so you're really working the fundamental techniques of each defense, each footwork, each step, each where your eyes are supposed to be. Not so much, hey, we're playing the Jets and we got to know where this guy's at and that guy's at. It's more a generic thing against our offense. We're not necessarily trying to game plan our offense, but it's more technique, fundamentals, those type of things. And the next really 3 or 4 weeks we're looking for.
Is that what you enjoy about coaching, as opposed to week in, week out, where it's more game planning, more opponent specific?
Well, one of the things I think happens in coaching is once you get into the games, into the league games and the regular season, you start to wean away from like watching the techniques, and you letting the players get a little, and we've been really good to staying on top of that stuff and getting the players to understand in training camp, this is how we want it done all the time. So when it comes to the regular season, it doesn't wean, you know, so you get on top of them right now, and you know, we've done a good job in the past of doing that.
The tight end comes in. This is an alignment pull, and this is like a tight end. They line him up over here, and he's actually acting like a fullback. So again, you have a defensive end outside. The linebacker just decides to take a step back this way. Okay. Well, your free hitter is right here. This linebacker has to get over the top.
Yep.
And Minter just doesn't get there. He does late over the top, but
no, that's Vinny Ray.
Too much, right? He gets lost in the proverbial shuffle, so to speak. The other problem they have here is the defensive lineman too. Keep your shoulders square. The Bears are able to turn him and get him sideways. That means these two guys are blocking these two guys easily. This running back has really a two-way go.
Yeah.
He should have kept it and gone this way. Bounces it outside, and safety makes it.
I'm so sorry. These plays are the bomb. Now, when Vontaze Burfict and Nick Vigil, two of their starting linebackers, play, Burfict and Vigil, watch how Cincinnati plays.
Right, and these are really the same kind of plays that Chicago ran against them, but you'll see how much better they defend them. So you have Burfict here on the outside, drawing a block from a wide receiver. We saw earlier, wide receiver takes out 3 defenders.
Yeah.
Vigil on the backside, a guy who can really run, he can move. But Burfict comes up, steps up, shoots the gun, makes the play, and makes the tackle. So you're seeing the difference there when you have these linebackers running downhill. Again, Burfict and Vigil, same thing. They pull this guard, but watch how quickly Burfict is reacting. His vision is perfect. He's looking at the guard through the running back. As soon as he sees this guy move, he's already on his way outside where he's supposed to be. Watch. boom, he takes one little step.
Very nice.
And he's outside. Johnson comes underneath. He's got the speed and the ability. He comes in, spills his guy, and then Vigil just playing the piano, shuffling, keeping his shoulders square.
Very nice.
Across the line, bam, able to step up and make the tackle. So the difference that two bodies make can be huge. Similar to the play we saw before. They're just a downhill stretch play. They leave Burfict unblocked, and he has the speed and the ability to get in there in the backfield and make, the play. So Cincinnati is saying schematically there's not a whole lot we can do differently because we're just not executing. So wide receiver coming down, blocking on Burfict. He's big enough, fast enough, get over the top, beat a blocker, make a play. So, and you have corner support on the outside. So it's not as if what Cincinnati did was any different than they normally do. They just don't have the same guys executing it.
Right.
Do you defend a guy like Gronkowski like you would any other?
He's a good player. I mean, he's definitely one of their threats, so we got to make sure we know where he's on the field at all times, and like some of their other guys. So it's just, like I said, we've faced some good tight ends the last couple of weeks, so it's very dissimilar to those type of things. Whoever their guy is that gets the ball, we got to know where he's at all times.
I mean, well, not giving away game plans or anything, but does it help to kind of mix up the coverage on a guy like that, to where you have like a man at some point, maybe not local at some point?
Yeah, I mean, you do a lot of different situations with matchups, put a different guy on them or whatever it may be. But it's just like I said, it's like any other week. We know he's a good player. We know the quarterback's a good player. Their backs are good players. They got good receivers. So we got to match up across the board, not just with him.
As you scheme, do you see weaknesses in their O-line where you can attack?
No, I mean, obviously we look for it every week, regardless of what line we're playing, Tennessee, New England. But, we just try to get our best guys on their worst guys, really, at the end of the day. That's really what this game is. That's what every team tries to get their best guy on their worst guy on our team. So that's pretty much what we do every week.
Where's Geno at right now, health-wise?
He's doing good. He's progressing just like we thought he would be. He's obviously just a little bit in training camp. It took him a little bit of time to come out of it, but he looks like he's getting back to normal now.
There's obviously a big challenge on the field at 8:30, but when you play these especially these road games in prime time, how big of a challenge is it just passing the time during the day and getting off that regular schedule?
We've changed the schedule a little bit here to do that. I don't know what the right answer is. Like I said, I don't care if we're playing 8:30 or midnight at Fenway. I don't care. We're going to play football, and this is a team we got to beat. Really, that's the attitude I've taken with the players all the time.
Sharp, quick, and keep them guessing.
Tannehill with time, and that's batted down. Good starting point here for Miami. From the 43 and knocked down by Burfict as we approach the 2-minute mark. Tannehill, here comes pressure. Ball on the ground, recovered by Pecco. Well protected on this one, and it's tipped, almost intercepted. Heath, hold on with two hands and driven back. Tannehill in trouble and taken down. Geno Atkins and Michael Johnson. And again, Tannehill. We saw Bowling go to the locker room. Landry for a loss of 1.
They're going to make plays.
Here's a 2nd and 10. Pressure, and Tannehill fights to get back to the line of scrimmage. From the 39 of the Bengals. Tannehill intercepted. That's Chris Lewis-Harris.
He sees him. He just means to throw it over the top and doesn't do it. Denver, where he did well with. Had a good year with Jake Cutler last year.
And Tannehill is decked for the 5th time.
74 watching. Geno Atkins coming around and just pushes him right back.
Well, Paul's, Paul started with us in Washington and really, earned an opportunity to coach at this level. And, he did it the right way, worked very, very hard at it. And he was able to really gain a lot of knowledge and experience in working alongside and with Mike Zimmer and understanding things. And he's been able to take it and run with it.
If there's anything we've ever done that I'm particularly proud of, I would have to say that the perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
I'm going to tell you something, man. If you guys don't know how big a win that was, you'll know tomorrow. It's a hell of a win. It's a team effort. Offense, defense, special teams. Now, the effort was outstanding. Outstanding.